back in Opus. As I've had a couple of demos here, and it's good to have more people. I've seen some familiar faces, familiar names. I mean, and 'cause I'm not looking at the videos with all the participants, and it's nice. And thank you for signing up for my demo. Hopefully you'll have fun doing and watching my videos as same as my other videos. And have you downloaded the reference photo? It's good if you could sketch with me. It's nice to do that. If not, it's also okay, because this is just a demo and it's about sketching on location and having materials to be ready, instantly ready to have with you. So everything is easy when you're sketching on location. So as we all know, we're doing a Derwent demo, and we'll be using this Inktense paper, which you can find on Opus. For those of you who are tuning in and not from BC, you can either order it online at Opus. Hopefully they will ship it to your area. Okay, so how about we start on the materials that I'm going to use? Pamela, would you like to switch the camera so it's more focused on yes, perfect. So okay. So sketching on the go. When you say sketching on the go, you want to have something speedy, something easy to carry with you. And most of the time when I'm sketching on location, because I'm an urban sketcher, I've been a member of the urban sketching group since 2016, 2017. So I am not a professional artist. This is not my job. This is a hobby. So most of you are a hobbyist. Derwent materials are easy on-the-go items to put in your sketchbooks or in your sketching kit. And when I'm sketching on location, I would prefer something that's handy. So I have here a small bag, a small pouch where I have my Derwent kit. And as you can see, it's a little bit stained because I'm always carrying these materials with me wherever I go. And I will put it out in a while. So let me just put it around. Like I usually have, these are water brushes. I hope you're familiar with it. So it is a brush with a water holder, and you can squeeze the water out, so you don't need to bring cups or water with you on the go. So I also have some water soluble pens. Email the reference photo. Oh, the reference photo, if you go to my website on Instagram, it's on my LinkedIn, and you can download it from there. I think I'm not sure if Pamela, did you share the reference photo on?
I can find.
I think it is.
I can find it and drop it into the chat.
Yes, please, thank you. So it's there. And I have my line and wash paint pan set with me when I go. But for this demo, I might include other sizes of my water brush, because their water brushes comes in different sizes. This is a set that you can. Do you carry this as well, Pamela? I think it is also in Opus, because it is very handy. If not, they also have small water brushes that goes with a kit.
Yeah, I know for sure we have the ones that are found in the kits.
Yeah, the small ones. It is this one, this little guy. It is also handy. Okay, all right. So are you sketching with me? Hope you are. Hope you are sketching with me. It would be fun to sketch along. So these are some of the things that I bring with me on location, and why I want it to be handy is because I have to, you know, when you're sketching on location, the sun will move easily and things are going on. If you have a subject, they will go on a breeze. So you have to be quick. You have to be done in less than an hour, as much as possible, unless you're sitting on a beach, enjoying yourself, and people are doing the same things as well. So I'll show you some of the things that I do on location, like this is our public library. So there was an event on the street. If you would see, if you would notice, it's on a diagonal format, because my paper is kind of off the usual standard size. So, and I want to capture it, so I use it diagonally. And I use this line and wash set for this sketch. And I also like drawing cars. So there was an event on one of the good street. So it is fun to sketch cars. So this is one of my sketch. Well, I passed along that street and I said like, oh, that's a cute car. So maybe I should sketch it. And when we were on a road trip to the US, my friends are not sketchers. So they just take photos, and you know, when taking photos, in 5 minutes, you're done on the site. And I was still sketching. So I said, okay, just do the outline and just give me a few minutes. Can you just go around the property? And I just want to sketch this building. So I think I finished this in 20 minutes or something. Still using the line and wash paint pan set. And one time I was, our subway here in Toronto, it malfunctioned and something happened. And I got off a subway station, and I was hungry. There's no bus. There's tons of people waiting for transit. I saw a sushi place. Oh, a sushi place is a nice place to sketch. So since I have my handy kit of line and wash paint pan set, I was able to do this. Of course, this is not 20 minutes. It took longer because I was enjoying my sushi and sketching at the same time. So these are some of the things that I sketched. I also sketched another car. It's a DeLorean. If some of you remember the movie Back to the Future, so I sketched this. If you want to sketch on location, you want to do a quick sketch, bring something small, like a handy sketchbook. Like it's almost like as big as my hand. So something you can put on your purse, ladies, or for the guys, you know, that if you have some portable bags to bring. This is one of the sketchbook that's so easy to take with you, and you can sketch a DeLorean. So recently I went on a trip to Europe. I went to Poland, and I took Derwent with me as well, because there in Poland, there's a lot of sketchers, the urban sketchers in Poland. They like sketching with Inktense pencils, and they have lots of Derwent products there as well. So I've sketched this, and it was about to rain, so I actually sketched the outline of it and finished this after, like as soon as we got back home. But this was also sketched with a Derwent line and wash. It's so versatile, and it's a really handy item to put in your art kit wherever you go. So I did several demos in Toronto, and even using some pencils. So for a quick sketch, like what we're going to do today, I believe Pamela have already uploaded a picture. Yeah.
Correct. Is that the right one?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, Pamela. So it is this image. I hope everyone got it. All right. If you got it, we will be sketching it like this. This was a sketch I did back in March. So I was just walking by close to the art school, and I said, oh, the sun is so pretty on the building, on the structures of the building. It looks so busy. I like busy subjects. I don't like it when it's too clean. You know what I mean? I like it when it's busy. I like back alleys, things that are has a lot of interesting points. Like, because Toronto has a subway system, and we also have streetcars. And on the streetcar route, so many wires. There are so many cables. It's busy. It's noisy, and there's a lot of movement. It's so alive. So these are the things that are interesting for me to sketch. So when I saw this, if you can see, there's some construction and everything. There's very minimal lines. There's very minimal pen lines that I did for this sketch. And I will do this, as a demo today. Actually, when I did this, I only added the lines, the pen lines after. So let me know if you have any questions.
There's a question here asking what are Inktense pencils?
Oh, Inktense pens. Thank you for asking. That was the next thing I'm about to show. So aside from this kit that I always bring with me, I also have my pencil box. So these are the Inktense pencils that I use. If you would notice, Inktense pencil, they look like ordinary pencils. And their colors are amazing. So they are very vibrant and they are water soluble. That's what I like about these pencils. So whenever I'm sketching, you can use this in many different ways. This is a watercolor, also by Derwent. This is watercolor pencil, and there's a difference between using a watercolor pencil and an Inktense pencil. Inktense, just like what the name would say, it's ink and very intense. But you can make subtle images or subtle colors out of it by diluting it. I will show you how I work on these pencils. And they are very nice to work in. So because they're handy and it's easy. Okay. Let me show you how I work on Inktense pencils. Put that aside. Okay. Let's do this. I'm now using this Inktense paper, small one. Let's do some exercises, or I will show you ways on how I work on the Inktense pencil.
And Isabel, is the paper that you're working on, is it a cold pressed or hot press?
Inktense paper, this is a cold press. And for some of you who are not familiar with cold press paper, it has more texture. So this is a 7 by 10 inch. It's a cold press paper. It's called Inktense paper, and it's quite thick. Very good to hold watercolors. It is 300 GSM or 140 pounds. So it's very thick, it's very nice. When you hold it, it has texture.
Thank you.
All right. Any other question? Okay. All right. Now let's do some fun stuff with Inktense pencils. So these are the Inktense pencils that I have and carry with me when I'm on location or whenever I go out. And when I start sketching, usually I would only use two to three colors. Although I have tons of Inktense pencils with me. I try to minimize whatever I would bring with me on location because it will make your sketch more holistic. It will bind all the stories together and it will simplify your life. Believe me, if you're holding so many pencils on your hand while sketching on the go, it's kind of hard. So if you're sticking to a cool and a warm color, it's easier. What brand of sharpener do you use? This is my sharpener. Get it from the dollar store, or they also have it on Opus for sure. So I don't normally use a sharpener. So I try to do it by hand. And when I'm traveling, I make sure that I do it at home because I cannot take this with me on the plane. Otherwise, I will lose a lot of X-Acto knife. So that's how I sharpen my pencils. And it's nice because when you have a long point like this, you actually don't need to sharpen it too much because I don't really work with fine details. Fine details would be something you'll do when you're at home, when you are, you're spending all the time on your sketch. But me, I hardly do that because when I sketch at home or when I paint at home, it doesn't have the same feel as when you're sketching on location. On location, you have you have more emotion. You have more feel of what you're sketching. You can smell, you can hear the life of sketching on location, which is so much fun. And it has more feelings, in my opinion, whenever I sketch on location as compared to sketching at home. I sketch at home only when I'm trying to test on some materials, because I've told you, I am not a professional artist, but I like sketching and painting as a hobby. So I only started sketching in 2014 when I was still living in BC. So I was always at Opus actually when I started sketching. And I was staying in BC for about 14 months. And then I went back to Toronto. It was a job-related thing. That's why I went there. When I came back to Toronto, that's when I met the urban sketchers. Too bad I was not with the Vancouver urban sketching group when I was there, because I never knew about it. Only when I came back to Toronto that I heard of urban sketching, and I joined the urban sketchers group here in Toronto. And this year is actually our 10th anniversary. We'll be celebrating it. We'll have a big sketching event next month. So I'm not sure, because I sent out some invitation to some of my signups for the workshops I'm going to do here. Hopefully you can join us if you have time. I think there are still spots for the event. Sorry for the plugging, Pamela, but yeah, that's about it. And what's nice is for this event in Toronto, of course, I'm also using Derwent. So it's going to be fun and an enjoyable event. So going back to how to use Inktense. Inktense is water soluble and it will leave a mark on your paper and on any other materials. So it could stain your clothes, especially if you want to use it on fabric. I think you can still do that. I haven't tried that, but I believe you could. So you just have to be careful, but it's really fun to use. So this is how I use it.
And Isabel, just a quick question about the leads on for the pencils. I know you choose to use the X-Acto knife to sharpen them, although do they fit into regular sharpeners or are the leads a little bit bigger than regular pencils?
It does. It works. It works with regular, except those very small ones for kids, because I still use them on a regular sharpener.
Okay.
And I believe Derwent also has a sharpener, but I think it's a big one that you can keep at home. Lisa, can you clarify? Because I remember seeing Derwent sharpener, and it's good for Inktense. I think it's a bigger one that you can leave at home, and I'm not sure if they have a small one to take with you on vacation. So, any other questions? Okay, let's start. From my sets of water brush, this is my favorite, and not a lot of water brushes have a flat one. What I like about this one is you can do a lot of lines just by one brush. And for me, the bigger the coverage, the better for watercolor. Okay, so let's remove this for the meantime. Okay, so again, this. You would notice my overly used palette. I sometimes leave it messy. Why? Because the surprising colors of leftover paint can be nice on your sketches. So I would clean up the middle part, but not all. So just to demonstrate the use of this, I will use the leftover paint. So you can see, otherwise, if it's just color, it's not clear. Okay, so see how wide it can make. I will use, this is dark deep indigo. And when you use it on wet paper, look at the colors. When you use it on dry, that's how it looks. You can still intensify how you use it, or use another brush and use it on the dry strokes, and look at that. See how intensified colors is. Can use that or add another color to go while the paper is still wet. And just like what I've showed before. There. You can combine colors just like when you're doing it with watercolors. Another thing that you can do is, okay, let's use this bright blue color. I like using blue and a little bit of brown colors. But this is another color that I like a lot to use on sketching on location. It's called Shiraz, color of wine. So I like red wine and I like Shiraz. So that's my favorite. It makes me want to drink every time I use it. So here you go. You can also do like wet the tip of the pencil. That's why I like long points. And you can do this as well. And see the effect? Or you can also use, I carry with me this small sprayer. And use that. So it can spread around. You can still play around with it or let it dry a bit and then spatter some colors using the pencil. Okay. This is spattering on dry paper. It just spreads around like so beautiful when it spreads around. Some of the things that you can do when you're just playing around with colors. This is a color that I discovered when I was in Poland. It's called Lagoon. It's now my favorite blue. So it's nice to combine that with a golden color. You can see combinations of the pencils. And this is how I sharpen my pencil. When you're drawing, rotate your pencil. It will sharpen on its own. See? It's now pointed. All right, so those are the things that I normally do. One other thing that you can do is wet the paper. And start drawing your figure. And then let it spread. Isn't that interesting? You can do so many things with just pencil and a water brush.
Lovely to see you soften the lines with the water brush.
Yeah.
And do you need to clean them between each color?
Yes, that's a very important point. Thank you for saying that, because that will also make your lines clean, and it will also preserve your pencil. Do not dip your pencils in water. It will destroy the pencil. So I still bring a small bottle of water with me, because sometimes I would run out of water in my water brush. And what I do is get a pipette. So this comes in handy when I'm refilling the tube for water in my water brush. Sometimes I tried using it, squeezing this in my small tube. Sometimes it doesn't work because I don't have enough water, but it's handy to have a pipette with you whenever you're on the go as well. So I sometimes would not use this water bottle, and normally I would just use my water brush if I'm sketching on the go. Okay, so another way to use the brush, the pencil. Let's use another color. Okay. If you have this on your paper, if you color that on paper, you can soften the edges by a water brush. Speaking of not cleaning my brush, look at that. I cleaned the pencil, but not the brush. So bad, my bad. So, but it created a nice gray. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah, it's our time, right? So the things that you can do, the fun things you can do with your Derwent pencil. I've been using this line and wash paint pan set for quite some time now. It comes in this box when you get them, and I'm pretty sure you have this with you, Pamela, right? You have the line and wash paint pan set with you. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So buy this, and you get the pens and the whole 12 colors of a half pants line and wash. It's a perfect colors for sketching on the go. So, and then you buy like the Inktense pencils. So choose something that you like. Choose 2 colors. Start with just 2 colors, a blue and a brown, because that will, or Shiraz, my favorite red. So that will take you for a while, and you can experiment on those 2 colors. Okay, so let's go now to start sketching. So we have time for question and answers after. So as I've mentioned, we'll be sketching this. We'll be doing this, and we will be sketching this. All right. Okay. So I put this on the side. All right. Now I will start using a bigger paper. Okay. So when I started doing this sketch, when I was on location, I saw the BC lines of buildings, and I said, "Oh, that's an interesting subject, this sketch." I didn't even look at this side, although these 2 ladies were actually a good subject until they left. I would have used them as my foreground, but unfortunately, one was just waiting for the other, and then they left quickly, so I was not able to capture them except on the picture. So what interested me with the view was this structure right here meeting this structure here. So it's a lot of play. It's a lot of play of up and downs of the building. And I don't have much time because I was waiting for someone to go somewhere else. And I said, okay, how much time do I have? Maybe I can do it in 30 minutes. So this was what I did. I will try not to do it in 30 minutes because I need to explain what I'm going to do now, but I'm sure you'll get you'll get the idea on how I did it on location. So this was how it started. When you're looking at something complicated like this, what I do is I try to capture the shapes, just the shapes of the building, and then follow it up with the pencil. So what I do, as I've said, I like using the flat brush, because when you use a flat brush, just one stroke, you can immediately capture the shapes of the building. You know what I mean? Just like that. Do the paints dry quickly? Yes. They dry quickly. So it's also a challenge when you're trying to do something and the paint would dry quickly. But if you're sketching on the go and you want everything done quickly, you want it to dry quickly as well. So, all right. Okay. So what I do is I try to capture the shapes of the building. How do I make this? All right. Okay. Because I want to show you how Shiraz, indigo, I'm just trying to organize what I'm going to use. Okay. Let's not clutter ours. Okay. So what I'll do a light wash so you can see what I'm trying to say here. This is a light gray color. I think it's called, what is it called? Storm gray. This is a pastel color on the paint, line and wash paint pan set. I'm just doing this wash so you can see what I'm doing. Otherwise, if it's just water, you don't understand what's going on. So it's just a very light wash. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, so what I do, get your round water brush. And if you want to start with the CN Tower, the CN Tower is a very big landmark in downtown Toronto. So hopefully most of you know what the CN Tower is. So for those of you who don't, because I've seen some names from abroad. So the CN Tower is actually a communications and observation tower in Toronto. It's the highest structure so far in downtown Toronto. It's about 1,800 feet. And yeah, it's one of the biggest, it's the highest structure in Toronto. Okay. So if you're looking at the structure and you see these buildings right here, you try to organize it on your paper and try to organize how people will be looking at it. So you start with some shapes. Can you see the gray? Okay, good. You can see some gray. You can see the shapes. Connect them. Connect. Doesn't really matter if it's the exact shape. Doesn't matter. If you're using a flat brush, it would look like a building eventually. So just do that. Something a bit bigger here and a bit something smaller here. And you want to leave this space for the CN Tower. So what I do, since the CN Tower has a small tip, a pointy tip. So what I do is also use a finer tip here and just imagine where it will land. Okay, just basing on the picture, okay? While the paper is still wet, sometimes it's challenging when you're doing this on location. While the paper is still wet, you can see the sheen on the paper. I don't know if you can see it. There. You can see the sheen on the paper. If the light is coming from here, the shadow is on this side. So what you do is just put a line. Just put a line on where the shadow is. You don't need to sketch the whole building. See, I'm indoors and it's already drying. If it's already drying, just put your water brush on the previous one and squeeze it a bit. Water will come out and moisten the paper again. The tip of your pencil, just let it glide on to the paper. There. See, some of the colors are already blending in. Use the side of the pencil. That's it. So there's also this part of the CN Tower when you can see some lines, horizontal lines going down. You don't need to mark the rest of the structure in pencil because the eye of the one looking at your sketch can put it together. You don't need to finish everything. So that's part of your CN Tower. And then what you can do for the other side of the building is just quickly put some lines. While the paper is still damp. You don't need to count the windows. I know some people, if they're drawing a structure, they want to count all the windows. You don't have to. Okay, this is just one pencil. And to blend the things or the sides of the building, you can use the line and wash set to do that. But we can let it dry a bit now. And then for this other side, it is already starting to get dry. You can mix some colors. And then since it's too much, there's too much blue, add some warm colors using some browns. You don't even need to finish the building itself. It's just like structure it. It looks like a building. It doesn't matter what you're putting on there. You're just after the shapes of what you can see. This is starting to get dry, but still a little damp. So it's nice to put an edge of the building. There. And then, since there's too much blue, as I've said, there are some shapes that you can add as well. And if you want to add your using the side of your pencil while the paper is still wet. See, you don't need to draw the windows. It looks like windows already. Are there any questions? Okay. So what you can do next is just fill this up with lots of the buildings that you see. The farther it is, add a little bit of blue. Something in front.
There's a question here from Rita. She's wondering if you can talk about and clarify about the light and the shadows.
Oh, okay. So as I was saying, like the shadows, the sun, let's imagine the sun is, okay. So the sun is coming from this side, right? So your shadow will be mostly on this side of the building. What I'm showing now is just looking at the shapes and what the buildings look like to me when I was there on location. And I will darken this side, which is out of the sun after the paper is dry. Because when I add more darks, now it will just be all over the paper. It will blend in with the other pencil lines I created, which we don't like. Otherwise, it will look muddy. So I'm just after the shapes of the building that I see on location, and then afterwards, we will be adding the shadow. Is that okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So this is already starting to dry. I will start another building. And the other interesting structure here is this building right here, because it looks like a stack of bricks on top of each other. And I left this space specifically for this one. So it will create some movements in my drawing. Okay. All right. So I might need, hang on. I might need the hair dryer because it's not drying it quickly. Hang on. I might need to mute myself first, so it's not very distracting. Let me mute myself.
Yeah, Isabel, I think that it'll be okay. Zoom will cancel the noise out. Isabel, so we're just gonna have to get you your sound back here. Hang tight, everyone. Isabel, so I'll just get, if you could just unmute yourself, please.
There.
This.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're
We're
good.
good. We're back. All right. Okay. So now I'm just adding some additional parts of the CN tower, using more blues, of course. And you can see when you're adding parts of the structure, you can just use your watercolor palette, or this, in this case, the paint pan set, and just drag them. Someone was asking them about the shadows. So it's pretty much like what I'm doing now, just adding it onto the side, the darker side of the structure. Doesn't have to be like just the CN tower. Any building would be under the shadows. Since the lines of the pencil are there, just adding the shadows on some sides of the building. Okay. And of course, you want to marry this together. You need the base, something to hold everything together. And that's why I like wider brush, because you will just put it on the base of what you're sketching. Squeeze the water brush so it just flows down. Since this is already too boring and too gray and blue, add some warm colors. And when you're tapering onto the edge of your paper, because most of the focal point are on this side, you still have that condominium, the brick on top of each other, brick towers on top of each other. You have to leave that small space there to capture it. Okay. So what I will do now, paper is almost dry. See, I have left this mark here. I don't know if you can see. There's a light mark here in gray. Now I'm going to put the shape of this building right here. Again, the sun going this way. So this is lighted and this is darker. But I'm not putting too much dark colors yet because I still want to capture the interplay of light on the small squares, the small brick looking shapes right here. And that is done with, because on location, I see that it's red side of the brick. So what I'll use is this red right here. And again, using the flat water brush, I'll just put it there. That side is actually like a red colored. Yeah. So this is supposed to be protruding. I didn't complete the buildings because it doesn't really matter now. It's just showing you how I would look at the building and sketch it. It's as simple as that. And then when I wanted to add, because this doesn't look like a building yet, but when you add the windows, you don't need to count all the windows. Just put some marks. Okay. Does it look like a building? There you go. So this is the edge of your building. And what I'll do is just let it dry first and then work on this. So now you can add some shadows to this. Now when you're adding shadows, just put some rhyme. You know, you don't need to think about it too much. There you go. Putting some layers of the building. This looks like an edge of another one. Now I can do, I need to just define some of the structures. That's when I would use a pen. Line markers. And for the CN tower, I remembered I need because when you look at the CN tower, there's some red lines, some red markers on some parts of the tower. That's what I'm just adding now. And it also adds contrast to the blue. Just one stroke. It's not actually seen. Can you see it? It's red on mine, but doesn't show well on the camera. Okay, there, now it's showing. Still not showing on the camera. So we're missing half of the CN tower because I'm just focusing on the one with the shadow. You can actually add an ink mark, your pen mark, onto the edge of the tower. And if you want further definition, oval shape of the tower. It's okay if you go beyond the initial shape, you're correcting your drawing. So that gives you more definition. Okay, you don't need to put anything on this side because the shadow of the sun is on right on that side. Just puts a little marks as a suggestion, and it's not necessary. If you use the tip of a round brush, you can use it actually almost like a pen. There. 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 There you go. So the CN tower is done. This is almost done. I just need to add a little bit of windows. There you go. Yeah. You know, sometimes when you're drawing, you just have to be intuitive about it. You don't need to think too much. So there's this side of the thing. Add some lines to it using the edge of the brush. Just make some shapes. There you go. Darken some of the base because it will drag the eyes towards that. Then this one, same thing, just add some of the shadows. See, I'm almost using just 2 colors, maybe 3 this one, but not too much because you just want to define some of the lines. Okay. This part is not yet dry, but I would like to take advantage of that because it gives a different texture. Okay, so put some more shadows on the building. There you go. Okay. Okay. So while this is drying, get your finer point marker, because during that time, there were construction. There. So we need to connect it to this building. And you can add some more lines there. Instead of using the pencil, you can still use the edge of your flat brush. Immediately you have a window. There. Okay. But this part, again, the sun coming from here. This part will be dark. So what will you do? Darken it. Let's make it like a shadow. There. There. Your building is done, just like that. Okay. So while that is drying, use your pen again. And since there's another structure here, you can work on this other building. But don't make it too dark. You're just defining it like a distant building. Okay. Construction. There's a crane. It also adds more interest because the place looks busy. Well, it was busy when I was sketching it during that time. I'm pretty sure the construction is still there. And yeah. Just to add some colors to it. Construction lines. Something that complement the colors of your building. There you go. This is too boring to me. And mix it with some colors. And then we can add some little bit of strokes. Buildings, there are, of course, so many windows. And not all the time all windows are open. So you can see some changes on each floor. Also do that on your building so it looks normal. If there's too much of this line, do some vertical lines as well. It will be more interesting. Just a dab here, a dab there. Just like before, it needs to blend to the bottom to give it a base. So you just want to unify the structures in your drawing. Like that dry brush effect. Okay. This looks like an unfinished line. Actually, I'm beginning to like it. So let's just make some additional colors. Blues just to enhance it. This is still the deep indigo that I used earlier. Okay, we have a few more minutes and we're done. I'm just wetting the pencil and not working on it directly because I just want to add a little bit of interest to the drawing. See, this is too blue for me. I'll add some brown. There we go. Open the base again. I added some of the bright blue from the palette. It's starting to get boring. Now this portion. Okay, so we're almost done here. And then this time, I'm just going to use my line maker to do the edge of the building. Okay. So the structure is right there. It's like a layer of bricks. One thing good that you already marked it before with some paint, it will give you some idea. If you're having a hard time looking at angles of a building, this will give you an easier idea on how to work on it. There. Anybody else has a question?
There are a few questions here in the chat.
Mhm.
There's a question about whether the paint will cover the black lines
Uh,
that you're making.
the paint? No, unless you put it like very thickly, that most of the paints are actually transparent. And besides, I'm only using the pens after I did the paint. If ever I'm going to add some paints, it won't be too much. It's just as an accent.
And do the Inktense, do they granulate at all? Or once activated,
No.
it's a very same color?
It's very much the same color. It doesn't granulate. I mean, from my experience, but it can make a lot of texture depending on the paper that you use. Since we're using a cold press, you can see a lot of texture on the paint, but I don't remember seeing it granulating or changing to a different color. However, there are some paints like this one. It's mustard. If you look at it closely, it looks green, but I'm going to show you. It looks green, right? It's mustard. But when you activate it, make sure that the brush is clean. Here it looks green. Now it's golden mustard. That's my son.
Very cool. And
Right?
the sky, do you,
Mhm.
when you paint the sky in your paintings, do you usually lay the blue first, or would you fill the sky in after?
Oh, for the sky. My sky is dependent on my mood. Because a lot of times I don't usually paint the sky. What I do is let me show you it. I just spray, and I like to play with my colors. That's what I do. Like, I don't like painting skies too much because your structure is already busy. Your urban sketch is already busy, unless there's a really need for the sky, or unless I see that the sky is my subject. I hardly paint skies. I like um, spattering. I like spattering on my painting, and it's more vibrant. It's not your standard. Oh, I need to put a sky. Like, why? Otherwise, if the sky is too pretty on my sketch, they will not see the sketch of my buildings.
Thank you, Isabel. It's a very dynamic approach. Love it.
It depends on my mood. So this is how we are almost done. Look at this. I will just put some dark marks here. I don't even need to finish this side, because there's another structure here, but it's not important. You just need to fade all of this. The backdrop at the foreground is actually this busy thing here. And it's not my focal point, it's mostly the structures behind it. I'm just adding some small darks.
So you had mentioned a couple of your favorite colors. The wine color, was that Shiraz?
Yes, Shiraz.
Shiraz. And you have a favorite brown as well?
My favorite brown light right now, actually, it's this is chili red. Brown, I don't have a lot of browns. But there's this baked earth that I use for brown. My brown is mostly from my Line and Wash Inktense paint pan set, because I like these browns. When I mix them with the bright blue, it creates a good, nice gray. So my brown is not from the pencil, it's from the Line and Wash paint pan set. But I like the Shiraz, I like Lagoon, I like bright blue, and deep indigo. The chili red I add because a lot of Canadian colors here, it has this color. So if I want to do the Canadian flag, I use this. And a mix of the red here. So just to finish a little bit of my sketch, just to put things together. Because there's a shadow here. Yeah. Let me know if you have some questions.
There's a bunch of great comments right now in the chat. You've really managed to inspire all of us today.
Oh, thank you.
I really love your mixed media approach to urban sketching.
Yeah, and it's quick.
And just why is it that you choose Inktense paints and pencils versus watercolors? Is there something about them that has really just captured you?
first, I like the intensity of colors. They're so vibrant. And I still use watercolor. Sometimes I mix them. Either I use the intense line and wash paint pan set as a base color, and then I add watercolors, or vice versa. But what I like about this set, as I've mentioned, it's pretty much the colors that you see when you're sketching buildings. Of course, I've never been to like Italy or Greece when the colors would be different. But for Toronto, pretty much this is cool. Like these are the colors that you would mostly see on the buildings. And it works for me. It's handy, it's easy to use, and I like working with them. And if I want really, really bright colors, especially for summer, I think it would change. I still have another Inktense. And this is the studio set, which has all the intense colors. That's when, sorry for the not so clean. Obviously, I like sketching with bright colors using this palette, and all the flowers and everything else. I can use. Just bring this palette. I know it's for studio, but I still take it with me during summer, because if I want a pop of color, I would just grab it from here and then add it on to my sketch. So I don't know. Do you have this as well? I'm pretty sure you do. Do you have this?
I'm not sure if we do, but if anyone wants one, just send me a message and I'll see if I can help with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is really cool to take with you, especially for summer. Yeah. So we're almost done here. Yeah. Just adding some of the darks to make some points on this one. That's it. Do we need birds? Not really. Oh, someone says they need birds. I got a nod. Okay, some birds. There you go. Here you go. Studio set. Yeah, it's a Derwent as well. Go. Any questions?
Lots of lovely comments. I'll make sure you get a copy of the chat so you can get the love blast.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, now I seal this with my kiss. Sealed with a kiss. There you go. Well, thank you so much for everyone for coming and joining us today. It's been fun. It's been fun sharing what I have with you.
Oh, we've got a little request to get a close-up of your drawing.
There you go.
Awesome.
It's something easy for you to do.
Really fun, playful, dynamic. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you
so much. An architect will not approve. But I'm not an architect, so I don't care.
I'm feeling inspired to paint.
Yeah. Go and paint, go and sketch. And if you have any message, send me a message via Instagram or through the, I don't know, can you just type in my email address? This is actually my, how do I type that? I can type in my email address. So people can just message me. If they don't have.
I can put your email address, if you like, on the follow-up email that I send everyone, Isabel.
Yeah, so that's my email address. So just in case you have questions, please let me know. And thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Pamela, for hosting. And
My
Lisa, of
pleasure.
course.
So nice to be here. Thanks, Lisa, for your support in the chat. And everyone for being here. Such an incredible community. Isabel, amazing. We hope to have you again in the future. Have a wonderful day. Have a creative day. And I hope to
Bye-bye.
see you
Thank you.
again. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.